Me 21 and my ex-GF 22 had a 6 years relationship, lived together for about 3 years. We had met during high school. We were our first lovers. She was a very loving and careful girlfriend, came from a humble family. After high school, I went to study law and she stayed unemployed. I used to live with my dad, but then he got married and told me to move to an apartment he had. She moved with me. While I was at college and internship, she would do the house chores. Just like a couple in the 50s. I was the provider and she was the housewife. We didn't had a lot of money, but we handled it and were happy. Later on, she got a job as a saleswoman at a mall, minimum wage plus sales commission. Things started to get better for us. We would split 50-50ths, had more money to buy things for our apartment, and won. 5 years later, she got promoted to manager, but at a different mall. At the time, I was in the hustling mindset, working and studying like crazy. I thought she also was, just like at her old job, but this one had less movement, less work, and more like a gossip environment. She started making more money than me. So I started hustling even more and stopped going to parties and other events to keep on my grind. I thought it would be better than be the one who makes less money. So a couple months ago, she started being more distant with me, spent less time together, and started to take more care of her appearance, started using makeup to go to work, started hitting the gym. On a Wednesday, we had a fight because she was distant. Thursday, when I picked her up, she was chewing gum, and when I asked for a kiss, I could smell the breath of alcohol. When I asked her, she said she was stressed about our argument and that she drank alone. Until they're not much of a big deal, I was focused on my grinding. So, on a Friday night after she got home, she told me that we should break up 2 days before my bar exam. I was a little pressured due to stress, financial and family issues. I cried and told her not to leave. I didn't want to be alone. She said nothing. Also cried, and we went to sleep. Saturday, around 10 p.m., the time she usually left work, she said she wasn't going home and would go out. Sometimes she did that with her female coworkers. I told her I had a big test next day, and she said she knew and that I would be fine. We had each other's location, so I dressed up and went after her. Imagining she was with her female coworkers, I would not give up on our relationship like that. So I started driving and calling, texting her. She wasn't answering and also stopped sharing location. I've already left my home, so I started going on every bar and party after her. After an hour of searching, I saw this party inside a house and entered there. That's when I saw her dancing on this other man, a coworker she said I shouldn't be worried about. I only looked at her face and left, called her mom who was also looking for her, and told what I've just seen. Went home and I was just in shock, couldn't sleep, sent a couple messages cursing her and told her to go to her mother's house. She blocked me. Spent all night just thinking. Sunday morning I thought about not doing the bar exam but did it anyways. Had nothing to lose, told her to go pack her things up and wait for me to come home. After the test, I went out with my family for some drinks. She says she is really sorry and wished to be there too. She always supported me. After a while I discover I passed the test and finally went home. She cries a lot, asks for forgiveness. We got into a huge fight and I gave her some slaps, not proud of it, but I was so angry and also drunk. During the fight I discover he was the one drinking with her on Thursday. Asked her where she had slept. She said at a female friend's house. After some confrontation, she assumed she slept at his house, but they had done nothing. We discussed for a few hours and ended up having sex that night. On Monday, I went to my internship and she goes back to her mom's house. I went to therapy the same day. My therapist tells me that I wasn't matching her needs, 'cause we had a boring life and that it was forgivable. So I talked to her if we could make things work out. She said yes. But when I told her she couldn't be on her job to make things work, she said no. We spent the whole week arguing and having occasional sex. I couldn't sleep or eat well. Started drinking every day. Thought she was the one and missed her a lot. Next Saturday, she goes out with her coworkers and this guy again. Sunday comes crying back to me saying she is really sorry. One more week on the same cycle. Until we go out on Friday and she is a totally different person. She was always shy, but was dancing like a hoe at the club, kissing other women in front of me and even texting the guy by my side. That was enough for me. I still had sex with her that night, but I was done. Since that day, I never talked to her again. I really miss the old version of her. She made me really happy. Now it's been a month and a half since D-Day. I am going to the gym, therapy, and working on myself, but I still feel this huge void. Any advice? Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like, and now next story. I cheated on my wife, and I need help with recovery. I 35 cheated emotionally on my wife 34F. Wife and I have been together for 10 years, married 7. It was about 4 years ago. I was working out of town and I was feeling lonely. COVID was just starting up and I was only coming home maybe every third weekend. I work in the construction industry and we had to have nurses check everyone's temperatures before coming to work. One of the nurses helped me out to get me on my feet in this new town in Ohio where I wasn't able to go out shopping to get essentials. I am married now 7 years to a wonderful woman who I do love and I am in love with. We started off living paycheck to paycheck. I always worked overtime whenever I could to try and get ahead. Eventually it paid off, and through our tough times we were able to get a house, and I love our house. Like everyone else, we made it our own. I took this job in the construction industry and received a good pay increase, which helped out a lot. This unfortunately also required some travel with the job, and I would be away from home for weeks at a time. Like all humans, we all have needs and wants. When I was out of town, our sex life was pretty much non-existent. When I would come home on a weekend, we would have sex once, maybe twice. Our communication was failing, and with me being out of town, I was lonely going to work and coming back to the apartment by myself. Along came the nurse, and we would talk at work, and it started off as professional. We exchanged phone numbers. This soon became to flirting and late-night texting calls. Had to keep it professional on the job site, though. After a month or so went by, she kissed me at work. I'm not gonna lie, it was nice to be shown affection and interest. It was a quick peck on the lips. I immediately stopped her and told her I was married. She said she was sorry, but it seemed that I needed some cheering up. It lit a spark in me, not going to lie. About a week went by, and we still kind of flirted and texted back and forth. Once again, we were met alone in the nurse's trailer on the job site. She kissed me again. This time, I kissed her back, and we made out for about a minute. After that, I had instant regret, and I had a pit in my stomach. I stopped all communication with her that day and asked to be moved to another job site. Forward 5 months, I was now working in Illinois. Things were still rocky at home, but it seemed that our communication had become better. I was driving back on a late Sunday night, and I texted the nurse to see how things were going and that I missed that spark she gave me. We called and texted for about 3 days, and again I had instant regret. I cut it off. Now forward 3 years later, home life was better, sex was better, but it seemed that our life had become dull and we were going through the motions. Wake up, go to work, come home, make dinner, watch TV, go to sleep. I should note that about a year and a half ago I lost my mother, so I was a bit depressed, and my father was well on his way to creating a new life with whoever he could find. But the routine things contributed to my depression. My wife daily falls asleep on the couch before bed, and I was usually left there on the couch watching TV or playing on my phone. I felt alone. After my mother passed, we decided that we wanted a kid, and we started the IVF process. We had been having sex without protection for about 5 years with no luck. With all the luck in the world, it worked. She was pregnant, and I was thrilled and over the moon. But we were still in the routine. This past October on my birthday, I received a text from a number I didn't recognize. Just said, "Happy birthday." I didn't know who it was until about 11 days later. It was the nurse. We started up a conversation, and it got into, "Hey, I miss you, ECT." This lasted about 2 days. Now I have a smartwatch, and it's linked to my phone. I had forgot my watch one Saturday, and my wife decided to go through my watch as I was actively texting the nurse, and it kept going off at home. My wife found out. I came home and told her everything. I apologized, and I asked her if she wanted to divorce me. If she did, I wouldn't blame her, as in my eyes I committed the ultimate sin. She said she didn't want a divorce. I never intended to hurt my wife, and I was prepared to go to my grave with this. I do love my wife very much. She means the world to me, and I would do anything for her. I have been going to therapy, and my wife has full access to anything and everything. I help out around the house more, and I have planned a baby moon for her and I. I also know this is going to be a long road, and I am constantly trying to be a better person, a better husband. I try to communicate with her on everything. Lately, I'm not sure what is going on because she doesn't say much. I'm not sure if it's the pregnancy or if it's me overthinking things or what. Eve asked her if she wants to go talk to someone on her own or couples, and she says that I have to fix myself first, which I am doing. For those that have cheated or been cheated on, any advice is helpful on how to recover. Thanks.